What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, and my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20-plus years. Well, if you're following the channel, you know that this week is my third anniversary celebratory. I'll be honest, I had to drink a little bit to be able to do this episode. This is the third anniversary celebratory week of my channel, and I'm doing every kind of video that I do every day of this week. And of course, this channel was built on the React video, and I wanted to do something very special. This is a very special video for me, and it may be one that's a little fucking hard to get through, because this will be the second video that I have done that's of a friend of mine. Actually, a really good, close friend of mine. Of course, the first one was Hot Rod from Tyler Childers. And unfortunately, my good friend Matt Wolfe isn't here anymore. He met an untimely demise that is unfortunately a demise that happens far too often in the area that I live. I'm going to dance around the truth, because I don't want to talk about it. But Matt Wolfe was a drummer for one of the greatest metal bands that you may not know about. If you do know, then you know. The Mountain State Metal Masters, Byzantine. Now, Byzantine is proof that the music business is not a meritocracy, because if it were, Byzantine would be just quite simply one of the biggest bands in the world. They're amazing. They're fucking amazing. And I'm not saying that because Matt Wolfe was a dear close friend of mine, and their lead singer OJ I consider a friend as well. Just if you don't know them, you need to. If you're a metal fan and you like any kind of genre of metal, they do everything. So I wanted to do this video in memoriam, in honor of my late friend. And I'm going to try to keep it light, and I'm going to try to keep it educational, and we're going to talk about what made Matt Wolfe such an amazing drummer, because I know his material inside and out. Of course, this is not a classic React video. How could it be a classic React video? And I fucking slept on this dude's couch before. We're going to be watching him play 5 Faces of Madness. And this is one of my all-time favorite Byzantine tracks, and I picked this one because I think it has everything in it that made Matt a special drummer. So let's try not to be sad right now. Let's celebrate the man. Look, man, if you know Matt, because probably more than likely most of the people who are going to watch this are going to be fans of Byzantine and knew Matt, and he fucking wouldn't want us to be here on fucking YouTube belly aching, because he ain't around anymore. He would fucking bitch, and he would call us pussies, tell us to quit being pussies. So I'm going to quit being a pussy right now, and I'm going to watch my close friend Matt Wolfe and Byzantine play 5 Faces of Madness.
This song is called Five.
Oh, before I go into the video, everyone please stick around to the end, because I'm going to tell my favorite Matt Wolfe story. It is the greatest Matt Wolfe story, I think, that I've ever heard, and I got to be privy to it. And then I'm going to read something that I wrote about Brother Matt. So please stick around to the end of the video.
Five Faces of Madness. It goes out to our fucking tire, which almost fell off last night. We spent about 9 hours on the highways.
Who are these young men? Who are these young men in this video?
The fucking tire.
Okay, right off the bat, classic gent. It's classic gent, but it's for me it's cooler than kind of your run of the mill gent. I'm going to use this as a chance to be educational as well. I know this song pretty well because I had a student play this for recital, and I also taught it to another student. The double bass part that he's playing here is classic. It's one of the aspects that I like about Gent. What he's doing right there is he is locking his bass drum up and playing a very syncopated part, and it's the fucking exact notes that the bass player and the guitar and the rhythm guitar player is playing. Now, I don't have my double bass or my bass drum pedal set up or my bass drum pad set up because it's not in my studio right now. But let's talk about that part. That part, if you were to play it on two bass drums, is 1 E and a 2 and a, oh shit, what is it? I gotta hear it again. I lost it. Yeah, 1 E and a 3 and a 4 E. 1 E and a 3 and a 4 E, right? I am not a double bass player. I just bought a double bass actually during the pandemic, during the lockdown. It was kind of my way of staving off the madness, was learning double bass finally. But I did take some double bass lessons from Matt, because me and Matt used to work together at a drum shop. And his is one of the best pieces of wisdom I have ever gotten about double bass. And he said that one of the downfalls or pitfalls of beginner bass players is they start everything out with their right foot. Now, I know for a fact that when he did this, when he would go 1 E and a 3, he would go 1 E and a 3. He would put that E on the left foot. Make sure that you just don't, because you could do that right-footed. You could do that pattern leading with your right foot. But if you want to have higher facility in your feet, you want to be able to start patterns with your left foot. I know for a fact that when he's doing that, the E's, he's starting with his left foot like you would in your hand. If you had 1 E and a 3, you would play that E in your left hand. So he's doing that on his bass drum. Now, as I say with all of my videos, watch the video with my nonsense on it and then go back after you've watched it and watch this without my nonsense. And you're going to see one of the things that made Matt so fucking musical. I think he's one of the most musical metal drummers like ever. You know, when you think about metal drumming, you think about just like brutality and just speed and precision. And you don't really think about them being melodic. And one of the things he's doing right here, he's doing, he's just playing, right, running 16th notes on the bass drums, playing 2 and 4. But the interplay that he's doing with his right hand on the ride cymbal, the syncopated parts he's putting on the bell, and then the splashes. Now, I know for a fact, because again, I slept on Matt's couch, but I slept on Matt's mom's couch before. He was a big Chris Adler fan. It's so fucking weird to say was. He was a Chris Adler fan. And Chris Adler, of course, was responsible for the splash explosion in metal drumming. And these splash things that he's doing right here is really melodic, or whatever the rhythm is. Listen back after this and listen to that subtlety there. He could have just easily just went that's fine. But man, the thing about Byzantine was they took tropes that every metal band plays in and expounded upon them and made them more creative than they already were. That. That's such good composition. You know, that, I guess you would call this the chorus or something. Man, learning Byzantine songs is fucking maddening. That verse is just lots of notes, just right? Everybody's just banging the 16th note. And then this pre-chorus, chorus. OJ, you're probably going to watch this. Actually, I know you're going to. Fucking tell me in the fucking comments what you would call this section. But the release of the bass dropping out and putting holes and putting space. A lot of metal bands are afraid to make space, and Byzantine isn't afraid to make space. There's that splash thing again. You know, that's like a double bass Bonham lick that you're hearing right there. You know, you always like the kind of like sextuple hand foot thing. It's kind of like actually that's almost a drum fill from Domination by Vinnie Paul. Oh, there's a yeah, choo choo cha choo. There's a good. There's my friend. Wearing a Fear Factory shirt. I live for breakdowns. OJ giving you that Stone Cold Steve Austin salute. Heavy metal is the only genre, maybe the only place in the world where like the double bird is like a show of respect. You gotta love that. This is not to disparage any other version of Byzantine, because there's like one thing that is constant in this world is Byzantine is always an amazing playing ensemble. But for me, this is the And They Shall Take Up Serpents lineup. For me, this will always, and man, their fucking guitar player now is a friend of mine. But this will always, for me, be the classic Byzantine lineup. Wolfe, Skip, Tony, OJ. And that being said, the band now still rules, and the new drummer is amazing too. Skip is annoyingly good looking. I remember this drum fill now. When I was teaching this to the two kids that I've taught this to, and the one kid who played it at a recital, back when we used to be able to get together in rooms and have recitals and things, that's an odd time. And that's one of the very few times in all of my years of fucking being a teacher where I was completely lost. OJ, tell me what the fuck Tom signature that is. I had to pretty much just show the student, because usually if I were to teach that, I would be like, okay, this is in this time signature, and this is what you're playing. I basically just learned that drum fill, and it just told him, like, if you play the snare drum with the crash cymbal on this note, you'll be right, because I don't know what that time signature is. There's high-level math going on, and it's not made any easier by the contrapuntal guitar part that the rhythm guitar player is playing. Like that that OJ I think is playing, and then that rhythm underneath it. This is why Byzantine's the fucking shit. That fucking drum fill again. And they're so good about this. They'll have this disconcerting rhythm that is there to destroy your mind with syncopation and insanity, and then they bring it all back with just good classic run 16th notes, play 2 and 4, and let Tony Rohrbal fucking rip this guitar solo. Okay, I know. Byzantine fans, I know. I just paused the Tony Rohrbal solo. Sorry. Because I wanted, before this part coming up, I wanted to talk about one of the things I think, that made Matt so special, and I think a lot of people don't even realize this. Matt Wolfe was a guitar player and was a guitar player for most of his life before he was a drummer. And he wasn't just a guitar player, he was a fantastic guitar player. I mean, dude, he would have been one of the, he at one time would have been a good enough guitar player to actually play guitar in Byzantine. I think there's 3, 4 tracks that he actually played guitar on. One of the things that made Matt Wolfe special was he played drums with a guitarist's ear to melodic movement. And he used that really well with his splashes and his crashes. You see it in a few different spots in this song. Man, that's such good fucking composition. That thing to get you back into that intro. Man, that's high level comp right there, son. That's good everything. That's good. That's good everything. Everything is good. That fucking ending, they just always had to go the extra mile to make it not standard. They were so fucking good at it. So, yeah, man, that's actually, since Matt left, that's the first time I've seen him play, because I haven't been able to see him play. I haven't been able to do it. I know this isn't YouTube friendly, but I think that you all can excuse me to get through this video. I've been fucking dreading this and been excited about it at the same time. I mean, you know what I mean? They are still, thank goodness, they are still one of the best metal bands in the world, and just for whatever fucking reason never got there. And I always wonder, like, if they got to the kind of success that they deserved and should have had, would Matt been able to stay in the band, and maybe Matt would have been able to still be here, and I could still text my one of my best friends. Shitty to think about. Because maybe he might have been, but we can't talk about that, can we? We just can't think about those things anymore. So, Matt Wolfe with Byzantine, And They Shall Take Up Serpents is a fucking classic. Any genre of metal that you like, you'll like Byzantine. Byzantine is like everything for all metal fans. You know what I mean? Like, I know death metal fans that love them. I know tech metal fans that love them. I know prog metal bands that love them. I just like metal fans that love them. They're everything. The fact that they're not shitting on gold toilets right now is a crime against humanity and the arts. So I hope that I was able to honor my friend. But now I want to tell my favorite Matt Wolfe story, and I'm going to put a picture right here. So this would have been right around and they shall take up serpents tour. OJ, it was when he kind of first got that yellow Mapex was Mapex Saturn, because he used to be a Mapex endorser. And the music store we worked at together had a day of percussion, and the owner, Tom, shout out Tom, he decided to do a day of percussion, and he was the sponsor and the money man, as he's always is. And he had me and Dom Famulero and Matt Wolfe do clinics. Now, if you know anything about Matt Wolfe, the last thing that he wanted to do was to be the center of attention behind a drum set. So we had to talk him into it. Like, he didn't want to do it. Just like, fuck, no. So I was the MC, and if I'm remembering correctly, I did a clinic at the beginning of the show. Because we did a few of those day of percussions, and my memories are getting foggy in my old age. But yeah, I think I did a clinic, and Matt was wanting to go first. Now, we had Dom Famulero. He was obviously the main event. But I told Matt, I was like, I'm not playing after you. You can fucking kick rocks. It's not going to happen. And I told him this. I said, you're going to have drum walks there to see Dom Famulero. You know, you're going to have, music school kids from the surrounding colleges and music and drum nerds that'll be there for Dom Famulero. Because Dom Famulero is a phenomenal drum teacher and drummer and just a joy to watch as a clinician. He's just a ball of joy. But everybody else that was going to come to this fucking day of percussion were going to be fucking Byzantine fans. And I couldn't get that through Matt's fucking thick skull. And he bitched and complained about doing this. If you knew Matt, he was the most charmingly grumpy asshole ever. And he just complained about, nobody wants to come see me, blah, blah. I'm just like, dude, you're in like one of the biggest up-and-coming metal bands in the fucking country. You're going to be the reason why a lot of people are there. So I did a clinic. I think I did a clinic on like something wonky, like, I don't know, how rudiments could be transferred to the drum set. Then Matt came out, and like I said, the crowd was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was drummer wonks and music school and music school drum kids, and a bunch of motherfuckers in Byzantine shirts that weren't drummers, that were just fucking there because there was a Byzantine guy doing a clinic. So, and Matt wasn't a teacher. In his defense, he wasn't a teacher, right? I think maybe he did a few lessons here and there. And I know I took a few informal ones, but he wasn't like a formal drum teacher. And so I can see him being nervous. So he basically just, I got to MC and I got to bring him up. And when he came out, it was fucking standing ovation, throwing babies up in the air. Obviously, the majority of the people at this fucking show was there to see him. And all Matt did was like kind of come out, talk a little bit about, because I know for a fact that he had just come off a long tour with Byzantine. And he came out and just talked a little bit with the people. And he had gotten their producer to give him a bunch of them back in 2000s. But I think this is like 08, 6, 7, 8. I'm fucking so old, I can't remember. But back then, it wasn't that easy to get your drumless tracks. So you had to talk to the producer, who's also a friend of mine, and get the drumless tracks to, I don't know, a handful of Byzantine songs. And he played along with Byzantine tracks. And he did some Q&A. And it was great, man. And he got most of the questions. Dom Famulero was there, and he got less questions than Matt did. And then the picture that I have right here, this is of the jam that happened at the end of the night. So I did a clinic, Matt did a clinic, and Dom Famulero did a clinic. And then me, him, and another cat who used to teach at the same music store, Chris, and Dom, we all four got up on drum sets and we did a drum jam, right? And it was great, man. And it was, the thing about being a drummer is you never get to play with your friends on drums, because no one has two drums in the band unless you're the Allman Brothers or the Grateful Dead, or King Lizard and the Gizzard Wizard, or whatever the fuck that band's called. I did a video of them. And then this is the piece de resistance of this. So like after weeks of Matt trying to get out of it, trying to say that nobody was going to be there to see him, he's not a teacher, he's not a clinician, blah blah blah. He gets the biggest pop of the night, most questions, throwing babies up in the air. At the very end of the night, the drum jam happens, it's finished, it's done, and everyone leaves except like a couple dozen obvious Byzantine fans who were there to meet him. They weren't fucking going home. We were up on stage and we were tearing our shit down. And I looked around, I was like, hey man, like all of these kids and young people who are sticking around are not here for my dumb ass, because I was nobody back then. I'm little less nobody now, but I was especially nobody then. I was like, and these kids don't know who Don Famularo are. They're here for you. Oh, fucking no, they're not, Steve. Fucking, let's get the shit done so we can go to the bar. And I was like, and I noticed that when we were loading his shit in, he had a box of like broken drumsticks from the tour. This is so bad, such bad YouTube manners, but I don't care. And I remembered that he had all of these drumsticks in a box, like from the tour, and they were broke, beat up, and I don't even know why he kept them. And I was like, dude, what you need to do is like take that box down there and fucking start giving them away. He's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's lame, cheesy, blah. I was like, Matt, shut the fuck up, get those drumsticks and go down there. So he grabbed a handful of drumsticks and started walking down the aisles. We were in a big auditorium. We were in one of the nicer auditoriums in the city that we were in. And in our home, in our capital city. And Matt took that took a bunch of drumsticks and walked down the hall, or walked down the aisles, and he got fucking swarmed. He got swarmed by kids in Byzantine t-shirts just wanting something of him. And it's such a Matt Wolfe story for him to not accept being respected and loved, and maybe that was one of the reasons he went down the road that he did. Because I know more egotistical motherfuckers would be like, yeah, man, these people are obviously here for me. I'm in a band that's like selling records and is on Lamb of God's record label, and they're obviously here for me. But I'm Matt, good Southern man who self-deprecates to the very end and Myers in low self-esteem. But when he went down there and these kids just fucking mobbed him, and he gave away every drumstick and signed every drumstick, and it was great to see my friend get the respect and love that he deserved then, and he still deserves now. And that's my favorite Matt Wolfe story, who fought me and Tom to the bitter end to do that goddamn drum clinic. And we finally talked him into it, and it was a magical night. Me and Matt, after giving away everything that he could to all these kids, we loaded up, we went to the bar, we had a grand old time for the rest of the night. So I'm going to end this video, because I know this is going to be a long one. God damn, it's going to be a 30-minute video. It's going to be a very long one. But I'm going to end it with something that I wrote about Matt, and then that's pretty much it. So I'm going to have to put on my old man glasses so I can read this shit. So this is what I wrote about my very good best friend, Matt Wolfe. I have had a day to process losing a very close and important friend, Matt Wolfe. I'm going to be honest. I'm so fucking mad at you. It'll be a while before I can get over not texting you shit talk about the Packers. I'm a Bears fan, so he always got the best of that interaction. I'm going to miss all those nights when we were working together, staying out too late, and debating the best Iron Maiden song. But I can't stay mad at you forever. I love you too much for that. And I'm going to choose to remember the best of you, because your best was pretty fucking great. When I met you in college, you were a guitar shredder who allowed me to copy our music theory tests, and that's a complete, truthful statement. When I met Matt, we were in college together, And I was only able to pass my music theory classes because Matt Wolfe allowed me to copy off him. Because I'm a dumb drummer, and what the fuck do I need to know what a augmented chord is? I would have never passed those classes without you, which is completely true. You also got me way too high in your silly little purple geostorm and turned me on to Meshuggah, scaring the shit out of me. Then when we reconnected after college, you had turned yourself into an amazing drummer, all in about 8 months. That's fucking, man, I hadn't seen him in a while. And when I'm reconnected with him again, when we were both started working at the same music store, he had turned in like a, shredder guitar player, and now he's like a way better drummer than me. And I've been playing drums for like fucking 10 years. I was so mad at him. I was like, how the fuck did you get this good in such a short amount of time? I was always in awe of your talent, a talent that you never fully understood you had. Between fundamental component to oblivion beckons, you are quite simply one of the greatest metal drummers in the world. I'll miss you for the rest of my life. But lucky for us, you left behind a body of work that will live on for many years. And I know that's what you wanted us to have and to remember you by. Rest in power, you beautiful, charmingly grouchy man. I can't believe I won't hear that laugh again. And if you knew Matt, you know that laugh. And yeah, Matt, the Packers are way better than the Bears. You win. So I don't know what happens after the end of our lives, but I can tell you this. If I could get to talk to him one more time, or get to talk to him for like eternity, I'd be fucking more than okay with it. Thanks, Matt Wolfe. I'm sorry that it went down this way. And know that we all still loved you. We just didn't know how to help. And if we could have, we would have. Kill your local heroin dealer. And rest in power, Matt Wolfe.